quorum here. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. Okay, let me just make sure. We do. Okay. We also have some guests today. Hi, Maddie. And then actually, I don't know who the other person is. Hi.
Hi, I didn't know if I was supposed to be on the meeting or not, so I just kept my camera off and kept silent. But it's nice to meet you all. I just moved in about a month ago.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Welcome.
Where are you in the neighborhood?
I am on Red Fox.
Hey, I'm on Red Fox. Wait,
Oh, hi,
this is Colby.
We lost
I'm not
video.
actually on
Colby,
Red
we
Fox
lost him.
right this second, but oh,
There you are.
He's in an undisclosed location.
I can only see 4 boxes. I was trying to see if I could see more. I'm just gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, don't mess with the Zoom.
But Colby has the tiny little library that's pink, right? Is it still pink?
I do.
Okay.
Are you having your house done?
I have a very large pile of dirt in my driveway. Yes.
With my dog, and I'm like, I hope they're not moving out and the next person gets rid of that little library. I love it.
No, we will never leave after this renovation. It will be, I will die in that home.
Yes.
You're good.
I know that feeling.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've done some stuff in our house too.
Yeah. So.
Well, welcome to our neighborhood. And also, Rachel, welcome. I actually don't know if I've seen you at a meeting before, but Rachel's I would say my diagonal neighbor.
That's a great term.
I see the name, but I don't see the face. So.
That's okay.
It's okay. So we have a pretty light agenda today. So we'll just get started, but I'm going to go over the agenda since I'm not sharing it with you directly. We have 2 new items of new business, I should say. One of them are ideas for future guest speakers. The second is a food truck night, and actually another newish resident is going to join us hopefully later on. Andrea, she lives on Ashley, also near the park. And then old business, just talking about membership outreach, the membership drive in general. And then also talking about our quote crosswalk project that we've talked about a little bit. So just to kick off our new business, Tifford, I think this was your agenda item, ideas for future guest speakers. One of the things that I was thinking about is actually trying to tie this to our old business item, which is our proposed crosswalk project. And I wonder if we can identify a council member that we think could use our crosswalk project as their pet project, whether they would be a good guest speaker. And just to take a step back for Maddie, Rachel, or other people who don't know, I think we've been walking around the neighborhood a lot more over the last year, collectively. And, at first it was really nice. There wasn't that much traffic. And slowly, I wouldn't call it cut through traffic, but I think people's old driving habits came back out. And we just don't think that we have enough striped crosswalks in our community for the amount of walking that happens, whether it's dogs, kids, or getting to public transportation. So we're hoping to get more striping done to give visibility to where pedestrians have the right of way, because technically, if you see an apron that is attached sort of across the street to another apron, that is considered a crosswalk, I think, by law, but most people don't realize that, and so they won't necessarily give preference to pedestrians. So we've been trying to come up with a list of, we haven't come up with a number yet, but we're trying to prioritize certain places where we think striping would be really helpful for our community. So like, a few of the examples that we came up so far are Ashley around Bolingbrook Parkway, Ashley and Macon around the park, Bolingbrook and Hunters is another one right by the JDS school. So those are like the really big ones. And those I think are more obvious, but then when we get to like 5 through 15, it gets a little bit, dicier. So we're going to effectively come up with a list and then prioritize that list and try to get a politician who is willing to, go to bat for us. So Tifford, you probably, or maybe Hooker or Andre, I'm not sure exactly who has their sort of like best pulse on the council, but who do you think, or I guess if we had to pick a few council members to talk to first, who would you suggest?
Josh, Andre here. Unfortunately, I can't contribute to that conversation. I'm not familiar yet with any of the council members, so I have to defer.
Okay. Does anyone else have? I mean, I know that Evan Glass in general is a big advocate of the pedestrian master plan, bike master plan. He quickly came to my mind, but I wasn't sure if people had other thoughts as well.
No, Evan's a good choice.
Brian, I think you're talking, but you're on mute.
Thought I hit both of them. I guess not. I guess from my perspective, it's did we completely strike out with MCDOT first, and then now we need a champion, or is I know like the one over by Hunters in Boiling Brook, I think we did get denied on that one, but I'm not sure if we did get denied the other one, or what we could do is actually take that denial and then raise that to someone like Evan and say, look, I know I support that particular one more. Look, the county already denied us. We need a champion. Say, look, it's a priority because of the reasons that you just laid out, and then bring that to someone like Evan. I mean, Evan's at large, right? I think he is, or no? Yeah, you're shaking your head. Yeah. I mean, Nancy, maybe she's now that she's no longer the chair, right? She's no longer the council chair. She can focus in on some other things. I mean, we technically are her, direct constituents. So I just lost touch with who Nancy's chief of staff was. She used to have a chief of staff that kind of knew us and we felt like comfortable reaching out to. And I don't think we've reestablished a relationship to her current chief of staff, because I think ultimately that's who we need to get the ear of, is one of their chief of staffs, because that's who kind of, I think, listen to or take guidance from. But I don't know, do we know who Evan Glass's chief of staff is? No. Anyway, that would be my suggestion: is take that denial, take that example, and use that as like, hey, we need your help because the county's already denied us, rather than because I think the first thing that will happen if we go to a council member is like, oh, here's the number of the person in the county, just contact them, which is probably what we did when we first got the denial for Hunters and Boiling Brook.
Yeah, we had put in.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that sounds like a real solid approach. My question would be whether or not it would make sense to already have prepared our full list and hand it off at that time. Try to make it as seamless a conversation as possible.
Yeah, and we probably should give DOT another crack at it. Or
simultaneously.
Yeah, we had. God, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on what year Better Black was because I'm stuck in a time warp. Was it 2018?
18? I believe 18.
2018, I believe.
18 sounds right.
Thank you. So that's when we we were really trying to get some coverage around the shopping center for crosswalks, because from every direction, sort of we had put in one for Waiakanda too, because that it's scary to try to get across Waiakanda, and we did actually win right at Boiling Brook there, and we got an extra striping, but we did get some denials or approval pending the next time they pave kind of thing. So we had some success. I think, we never really were trying to pitch this as a DOT isn't listening project. It was just more like a win for a politician to, increase pedestrian flow throughout our neighborhood, which is, pretty dense right along the park, and so we have a lot of people walking like all the time. But it's a fair point, Brian, that we probably we might get sent just to DOT if we don't try. But yeah, and Andre, to your point, we're going to have to go there with our complete prioritized list, and even a reasonably prioritized list as well.
So
hey, can I chime in real quick? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, sorry, it's a little awkward doing the mute thing on the phone here. Sorry about that. My point with this, I think I had mentioned last time, is I think we can make a pretty good case of, this is an opportunity for the Civic Association to work with the county agency on a project that is going to be pretty attractive to a council member, the idea of pedestrian safety, because that's been a very, very much in the public sphere recently. They have a lot of interest in gestures that further that goal. And just like we did with the tree planting, say, okay, instead of this piecemeal, somebody complains about a dangerous intersection, and then we go through a whole process trying to get a crosswalk, and instead we're going to have this whole this big one single big project where we present a whole bunch of different spots to try to and work with DOT. I think that's something that is actually could be very attractive to a council member right now, just like that tree planting was, because it turns out they're extremely interested in tree planting. Hadn't realized how interested they were in that whole thing, but that ended up being a very popular. They instantly said yes when we proposed it.
Yeah, I mean, I like Brian's idea though. If we know, which ones we had asked for in the past and which ones had been denied and or done, so that we have that list together, and then we can say to them, yes,
the problem I see with that is that you're coming in from an adversarial position.
No.
You're saying DOT denied us, and so now we're complaining about it. You know what I mean? So now you're starting off with an adversarial position instead of coming at it that way. Making it more of a positive. We want to make this a very efficient project where we make the community safer as a whole and leverage the reach of a civic association in organizing the neighborhood.
No, I fully agree with that, but I think
DOT denied us right away. That puts them on the defensive.
No. I'm not saying start with that, but what I'm saying is you want to have that information at hand, because I think it's important that when you're talking to your chief of staff or the council member, whoever you're talking to, and they say, here's the number to the county, and you can say, oh yeah, we worked with the county and they have approved some of our projects, which have been very helpful. Because if they ask us questions about have we worked with the county, how's that going, what happened, did you get things denied, were things approved, are things smooth, are they not smooth, we would want to have that information at hand is all I'm saying. So just trying to recollect what projects happened and didn't, so that we have that information at hand.
But
That's
I think
all.
we need to be careful. I think we need to be careful, because if we say that something was denied, their likely response is, well, if it was, we trust our county personnel. If they denied it, it probably shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? Rather than they denied it because they're bad, they're bad planners, or they don't understand what their jobs are supposed to be. I think that we just have to be really careful approaching it that way. But we can point out that the system that's in place is very cumbersome. I mean, we have successfully gotten a couple of crosswalks put in over the years, but it was an awful lot of work just to get one crosswalk, And that's an impediment to increasing safety in the community, the fact that it's such a process every single time. And so we can achieve, without any extra work for anybody, we could achieve a lot more if it's just a single project done in this more efficient way. I guess that's my proposal on this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if others feel strongly. I mean, I think agencies like MC.Dot can get, I wouldn't say defensive, but once they sort of come out with a position, it's really hard to reverse their position on something. I mean, I think I think it's a good point.
It's like those bike the bike path on the bike lanes on Bolingbrook. We'll never get rid of those. they are here to stay.
The bike lanes to nowhere. I do use them from time to time,
yeah.
but it's
they are permanent.
Yeah, I think I think like what we could do, maybe, we're still pretty early in this. I think it's ambitious to say by the early spring we're going to have our prioritized list, because we put it out in the Echo again. That's just going to hit mailboxes in a few weeks. So I think we have time to think a little bit more about our strategy, and we could write it down too, just to make sure that everyone, or at least the majority of us, are okay with it. But I do think it's nice to start off on a high note about it, rather than coming out with punches. But we can mention the shortcomings of the regulatory process, and we all have plenty to say about that when it comes to MC.Dot. I mean, they did a traffic study just to deny a crosswalk across Waiakanda, which is kind of silly, but that's kind of where we are. So, sort of coming back, I wonder, Evan came to a meeting, I want to say it was last April. That's something that we could invite him again this spring, whether, we can be flexible again on general versus executive if we're able to get Evan again. But I think Evan or Nancy might be good candidates and even we could talk to both of them about this project, or invite both of them to our meetings. Any other thoughts?
I will just agree with you about Evan. I think I see him tweeting more about Vision Zero and that type of thing than I do from Nancy. So, yeah. And I guess that's what I think Tifford reminded me. I probably need to put the words Vision Zero in whatever we correspond on.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big advocate of Vision Zero. So if we put the right words in, we'll at least get his attention.
And Josh, in terms of wrapping up our list of intersections of concern, do we have a mechanism in place for doing that yet? Were we going to once again float something out in Echo on that? I can't recall. But anyway, please, I see you're nodding, so go ahead.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt.
No.
So I put it, I actually can't remember I put it in the last Echo, in the president's message, and the Echo that we just sent to the printer this evening has another blurb about it.
Good.
To be honest with you, I think one of the best ways to do it is to put it out on Nextdoor and see what, cast a line. I think once I put out a post on Nextdoor about it, I think it would help if people, respond, because
right.
If not, things on Nextdoor just disappear into a hole. So I'll put that on Slack once I put a post up, and I think maybe it's time to do it now, like tonight, so that we can try to wrap this up in the early spring.
Sounds good.
But we also have an informal list going on Slack. I think we had probably close to like 10 intersections already identified.
Oh, good.
Yeah. There are some obvious ones, and then once we get past the first like 5 or 8, that's when it gets like, a little bit more challenging to figure out what the highest priority should be.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't see Andrea on yet, so I'm gonna skip food truck for a little bit.
Hey, can I add one more little thing? When we approach Evan, or if it, let's assume it's going to be Evan. We also might want to talk to him about they have those little flags. We have a little bucket attached to the pole, and you take the flag out and you wave it at the car that's about to run you down, so that hopefully they see you. They've got those up in Garrett Park on the crossings at Strathmore. MCDOT does not endorse those, or they don't have anything to do with those. If we wanted to have those anywhere, it would be something that we would have to do ourselves, but we would need to get permission, because otherwise we'd stick them up there and they would be removed within a couple of weeks. DOT, if they saw them, they would just take them down. But it's just an idea I thought I would float for some of our busier spots.
I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about. What?
When you're crossing the street and you're holding the flag.
They're the little flags that people can see you. They're like neon. They have them in they have them in Garrett Park. Like when you cross where the
over by Chevy Chase Circle, they have them.
Drive down Strathmore through Garrett Park. They've got them at both of the crosswalks.
We're not Garrett Park.
We're not Garrett Park, but it's an idea. It's an idea.
I mean,
so
I think that they're helpful. Like where I find them helpful is when people use them crossing at the Kensington Library, because when you're coming up that hill, you cannot see the people, but if that flag is there, the flag will sometimes show up, before you realize there's a person there. So, yeah.
And if a car doesn't stop, you can throw it at them,
Right. It's a projectile, if nothing else.
You might crack a window or something,
Right.
Yeah, they had that flag at this crossing to the elementary school in Garrett Park. That's why it's there.
Yeah. That's right, because the elementary school's on the other side. Yeah. That's right. I forgot. Yeah, I've seen.
I feel really out of the loop.
Just go to the post office.
Take a drive through Garrett Park. Unfortunately, the kids aren't back in school yet, but other people do use them too, though, from what I understand. So
Google.
I've seen them.
Yes.
So.
I feel like we need more of like a mobile strobe light for Bolingbrook and Rocking Horse, or maybe a reusable flare.
Reusable air horns, those air horns,
Air horns.
There we go.
Okay. Wow. Well, I learned something tonight, so that's good.
Go you.
So the last item of old business is membership outreach through social media, and I totally dropped the ball on this. One of the questions I had for people throughout past years, we had asked Vincent, who's our graphic designer, to put something together, and we didn't have a good idea. Does anyone have in their email or something like that just some old membership drive graphics that I think we could use just to make one last final push? Colby can give us a financial update later, but I think we're going to have to end the membership drive fairly soon. And I think we want to make one last push, and so we never actually did a social media approach for it, but I think generally it's been okay.
Just use a classic Uncle Sam poster. We want you to pay your $10. Simple.
Yeah, we haven't done an email blast either. I know that has sparked, we do have a lot of emails that we've collected. I can't tell whether they're all still up to date, because some people choose not to provide the email, but there are some new members this year that have provided new emails. So I do keep that list up to date. We do definitely need to talk about membership, unfortunately, this year, but we'll get to that in the finances.
Okay. We can, there's always time to talk about it, but of course. And actually, Andrea is joining right now, so that's kind of good timing. Hi. You're on mute.
Josh, real quickly, I think you said you wanted a graphic for the membership drive. Is that what you said?
So if we do like a boosted post on Facebook or something like that, we're gonna need some kind of image to put on it. The last time we did a boosted post on Facebook, it was the membership cards, which we no longer have. And so I was just trying to look for something that we could use. I mean, we could certainly use some kind of generic like park picture or something like that, but I don't have that much.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I know Tifford has the the Randolph Hills design, and then we could also do a thermostat type thing for membership. But anyway, we could talk about that offline. I'm sure they're in the shared drive somewhere.
Could we use a map of Randolph Hills? And, basically maybe take the map like that we had on the t-shirts and then say we have a certain percentage already and just kind of fill it in like a shaded color over it and say, hey, this is how much, but who else in the neighborhood wants to join and, we'd like to get closer. I don't know. That's just an idea. Like if people need a visual, how we have the map on the t-shirts. I don't know if we have that map somewhere. It's just an idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just not like the creative. I'm like a doer. I'm not very creative. And I think if someone has an idea that's reasonable, Vincent will put it together. I think he was just kind of like, well, what do you want? And we're like, I don't know. What can you do?
Yeah, I guess I'm not too sure how to do it digitally, but I think if we have a picture of the map and just say, okay, so we have 25% already and somehow fill that in kind of like a thermostat. It's like, hey, who else wants to join? And, kind of, say, hey, you're all part of the neighborhood or something. That's just an idea.
Okay. All right. So I'd also like to welcome Andrea. Andrea actually, our kids are in daycare together, but Andrea had posted on Nextdoor about a potential food truck night, and I invited her tonight to kind of talk about her idea a little bit more. So with that, Andrea, you want to introduce yourself and before you get started, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so we just actually moved into the neighborhood in March. So we basically moved in March 20th and there was like shut down right away. So we haven't really been able to get like really acquainted with the neighborhood, but obviously I've been able to connect with some people through my kids, which has been awesome, going to the park. And I just see a lot of young parents and just people out and about. And I feel like everybody in this neighborhood so far has been really friendly. I lived in Los Angeles for 20 years before this, and I knew none of my neighbors. It's such a transient city. So this is the first time I've actually had an opportunity to have a community. And I just kind of want to figure out ways to bring people together. I grew up in Wood Acres, which is in Bethesda, and went to Whitman. And then as soon as I graduated from University of Maryland, I moved to California and moved back 20 years later. But I still have some friends in Wood Acres, and they do food trucks, and it's been really successful. And there's a contact that they have that they told me about that actually is in contact with a bunch of other food trucks, so they can kind of, I guess, give you different options on what type of food trucks you would want. So it'd be nice to have different types of foods coming like once a week. I'm thinking like, especially in the springtime, Friday and Saturday, maybe having 3 food trucks or two different food trucks. And also I think it'd be really awesome to have like a movie night, like to just do a big screen and have like, just to kind of get a little more of the community together. I know we have to be careful because of COVID. So that might be something that happens later on in the summer when hopefully more people get vaccines. But I'd love to just kind of come up with new ideas to bring community together. That was a lot, sorry.
That's fantastic. Really, thanks very much, and welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I mean,
I love the food truck night idea.
Cool.
I think it's a great idea.
Great.
Really.
And movie night, I just don't know how we've done a screen, but
I have one, actually. I have a pretty decent sized screen. We'd probably need a bigger one with a bigger crowd.
That's yeah. We logistically tried to do it for Better Block.
Yeah.
And had some technical difficulties there. It's not that it's impossible. It's just that was one we tried, but food trucks do tend to work pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of we've discussed the movie thing, and I know I brought it up several times, and so have a lot of others about, finding, if possible at some point, RCA being able to invest in, a little the screen and a projector, things like that. I know, for example, in Kensington, the Kensington Fire Department hosts movie night, or they used to do it, of course, like every Friday for weeks at St. Paul's Park, or whatever that park is called, right there in Kensington.
Right,
St. John's Park, St. Paul's Park, whatever. And I mean, they get a lot of people there. You get a couple, 100, 150 people there. So it definitely brings people out. There's no doubt. But of course, it's just a matter of getting a projector, either strapping a screen onto, we talked about putting up a screen, possibly some eye hooks or something on the wall, which is not our wall over there above the stage. So the idea, that kind of thing, trying to figure out, like, could we just hang something that we could take up and down that would be we could project on, and some speakers. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. And I think the food truck sounds great too, because we don't need any investment for that, right? We just say when it's going to be there and where it's going to be, and people can come and meet and do their food truck, which would be fantastic.
So I'm wondering, I think someone suggested the Echo, that there's, I think 1,300 people that are connected on the mailing list with the Echo. Is that the best way to get the information out, or are there several different platforms you guys use to get information out?
Yeah, it really depends, like, on how much timing we have. I think, we talked about doing events a few months ago, and I don't think that we were in a place to do it then. And I feel like we're in a weird place now where, like, there's some hope. But I actually don't know what the current law is on outside, even an outside gathering. Like, at some point, I don't think you were even able to get together with more than like 25 people, or it could be less. I'm actually not certain what it is.
Right.
So I think, the Echo lags a little bit. The Echo is more how we talk about, our planned events. It's not as nimble for, like, something that's a little ad hoc. For something like, trying to get food trucks, like, at a specific place at a certain time, like on a regular basis, I think the Echo could do that. We actually just sent an Echo to the printer, like, tonight. And so the next one, I actually can't recall what the copy deadline is. But it would be hitting mailboxes probably like late March. So if we wanted to do something in the spring and we thought it was safe and not illegal, then, the next Echo, I think, is good. But for movie night, Brian, I think we looked into it a little bit, and it really depends on which movie you want to show. It could cost, like, just the licensing, because you can't just, like, broadcast a movie in public without getting a license. I think it started around a few $100, and it could go all the way up to like 1,000 or something like that. During Better Block back in 2018, we had really pushed for a movie night, because that was something that, like, there was a community feedback process through this event that we had a few years ago. It was the biggest event we've ever had. Like, we had 1,000 people or something like that show up. And we really wanted an outdoor movie, and Parks put up, the Parks Department actually has a massive screen that's inflatable, and they didn't have the license, or it got really weird, like, at the last minute, and the movie night didn't show up. But Parks actually does sponsor movie nights in general. And I wonder, if this is more of a long-term play rather than a 2021 thing, but trying to get them to come to either Randolph Hills or Dewey Park to do a movie night would be, pretty cool from my perspective, at least.
Where do you get the permitting?
So you mean to have an event in the park, or to have the license to do a movie?
I guess both. Where would would you guys, or where would we be able to get permitting for a movie, and where would you get permitting to throw an event? Is it two different?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, for a movie, it's through the, like, MPAA. It's the Motion Picture something Association. Like, it's pretty it's pretty LA kind of thing.
What?
Sorry. And then if you wanted to hold a massive event at a park, it would probably, be through the park. Hooker, actually, could you talk? I mean, we used to quote rent out the park for Community Day. So could you talk a little bit about if we wanted to do something like that?
Community Day 300, Brian? I don't remember now.
Community Day is usually in October, but are you talking about how much it costs?
How much it costs? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it's something like that, and then there's something you get back. You put a deposit down.
Yeah, you get like half it back or something. I don't recall.
But we have two locations that we have access to. One is free, and that's the Randolph the Civic Green at Randolph Hill Shopping Center, and that has been our kind of go-to recently. The biggest problem we have there is, if we do want other food vendors, we have to go through the property owner to kind of get permission, because we don't. His businesses are already struggling, and he doesn't want competition to those businesses. But those businesses in there oftentimes are like, oh, sure, we'll cater, we'll come out and sell food, or they can do things that helps bring them out, and they're participating in the event. For things in Randolph Hills Local Park, what Mara was just saying, there's a permitting process. We've quote unquote rented the pavilion that's there. Parks is probably more willing to bring out their equipment if it's in a park, but not exclusively. The other thing was in the shopping center. Anyway, we can go through that. I think what Josh was also talking about is, it wasn't that long ago we had a board meeting or a general meeting where I think we tried to take a vote to see how many people felt to the point where we were comfortable having a movie night, and it failed. we didn't have enough people that felt like they'd be comfortable. We might have even done that on Nextdoor or Facebook or something too. I can't remember, or maybe it was just at a meeting.
This was because of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about, we could have paint circles in the grass and keep everybody the right distance apart, and we talked about different ways of doing it, but ultimately I think people weren't at a comfort level they were ready to do it. Most of the ones I think have been successful are the ones where you stay in your car.
Drive-in movie theater, yes. Colby, you went to a drive-in movie theater. Could you talk a little bit about that, how that worked out?
That was super odd. The reason it was odd was, I didn't even know it was happening. Apparently, I missed the email on that one. That you all knew about it. I didn't. So, anyways, I just showed up at the shopping center where you get the Shoppers was Vita France, all that area, and there was they had like 2 tickets left, and I just bought one on the spot, and then drove up later. They had these speakers set out so that they have the movie theaters. There's a screen set up. They had these giant speakers set up, and then when you got there was no sound, and apparently you had to run it through your car's, radio, which was funny because you're listening to a movie for 2 hours on your radio with your car off, so of course your batteries are. So I'm like, well, this is not. I know. Of course, I went up with an old truck, right? So I'm like, this is great. I hope I can start my car when I'm about to leave. So it was kind of odd, and I have a terrible radio in that old truck, so interesting. It was fun. It was a little chilly out there, but it was interesting. I don't know how much that cost to put on. I mean, that would be a lot more than probably what we would hope to pay to put something on, but maybe not. I don't know.
If we don't want to pay for a commercial movie, how about if we would plan for something for the summer? Plenty of kids who are at home right now probably did home movies or created movies for school. Maybe we'll just run a whole bunch of indie movies from our kids that they made.
Great idea.
Yeah, do we have to pay Bollywood?
I mean, in case we would plan something for the summer and we put it in the next Echo, hey, make your own 10-minute, 15-minute movie, and then we'll have not really a competition, but have our own Randolph Hills Movie Festival from whoever wanted to put something together. That would be much more creative than renting Disney.
Cool. Hey, Maddie, you were so nice to actually raise your hand while we're like free for all. Did you want to add something?
I think my job just taught me that. They told me to tell you to order to raise your hand. But I was wondering for the permitting for the food truck, instead of us worrying about the permitting, could the food truck, we asked the food truck if they want to attend, they worry about the permitting. It's not an event we're putting on, which would not go against any CDC or MoCo guidelines. People are just going to the food truck and we're advertising the fact that the food truck will be there. And the only reason I thought of this, I don't know how the permitting works. I could be completely wrong. But the apartment that I lived at for the last year before moving here, they had people come on. And again, I think it was on the section that's technically their private property. So I'm not sure. But there was no, I mean, they had a setup that was CDC approved for COVID. So we could come in and all talk to each other from however comfortably those neighbors were not, or yes, like however comfortable you were with people, you could do that. But it kind of gives you the option instead of anyone being liable for COVID restrictions other than the food truck who's here, I guess.
Yeah. I sort of wonder, because I know, like Brian was saying, if they show up at the shopping center, then you've got that whole competition with the current vendors that are renting those places and the food trucks. But I don't know, like the other areas in our neighborhood, for example, I don't believe, like, for example, the ice cream truck is supposed to go down to Randolph Hills Park. You never see them down there. Now, the other park, that's the brand new park across the creek, of course, that's sort of right there on the cusp of the park. So it's easy for that ice cream truck to sort of pull up there, but not be in the parking lot of the park. So I don't know if there's some sort of restrictions about vendors of food and things like that going down to those park areas without, maybe they need a special permit to go down there. I don't know. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, I think you're right, Colby. I think even, you notice on the other side too, in Franklin Park, they stay main road.
Yeah.
They don't pull into the parking lot, I don't think.
Yeah. I'm wondering where we could have a food truck outside of the shopping center.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know you can through a permit if we were to have an event like what we were talking about in the park, one of the things to add is, will there be food vendors? And I think they charge a little bit more if there's food vendors, and they want to make sure that there's a separate, I think, permitting. But again, I think whoever was just speaking is correct. We would put that on the vendor themselves to comply, and that's what we've done when we've had vendors at, even the Civic Green is, they're kind of, well, we'll stage the event, but you guys are in charge of making sure you have all the permits you need.
Yeah, Andrea, were you trying to say something?
So really quickly, because I spoke with a food vendor actually just to kind of get their read on things. And he mentioned, I was like, well, are there any permits that you have to get? And he's done this multiple times. And he said, well, usually you don't have to get a permit if it's under a certain amount of people. He's like, if you're expecting, more than like 25 to 50 people, or I think there was a certain number that he gave me. And I tried to find the email. I can't find it right now, but he basically was saying that, if you show up and you set something up, you don't really need a permit, which I kind of feel like that's one person's opinion. I'd like to get a couple other food vendors' opinion, but I think it's worth, trying to figure out. Also, it's hard to know how many people are going to show up. The other thing that was really interesting is that what I noticed is that they do pre-orders. So they have people contact them and pre-order so that when people get there, their order is already ready. So there's lots of different options with the food trucks too.
Yeah. I think there's probably I think it's going to be a lot easier to do, if we wanted to just say that Friday was food truck night at,
right,
X location. I think that's something that's a lot easier to do. I think the movie night, I think there's going to probably be more hesitancy there for, I don't know how long, hopefully just a few months, but we're not exactly certain how long it's actually going to be.
Right.
And we also, we do have a relationship. I think Ken and Vincent are Echo layout editor probably have the best relationships with the food truck that's in our neighborhood, but they're also a resource that we could use to say, hey, do you guys mind like driving across the neighborhood at this time? And, we've got X number of people. And even if we did pre-order to kind of give them a guarantee or something like that, they might be willing to drive across the way to us as well.
Right. So the Echo is like the one mailing list. I mean, do you guys use that mailing list often? Like, I'm wondering if there's a way that you can send out a mailing list to the people in the neighborhood. Like, this food truck is coming this week. If you want to make pre-orders, here's their number. Also, I mean, would it be bad if we had them just meet in Randolph Park Hills parking lot? Is that a bad area? Is there a better area?
Well,
if we're talking about parks, I think like either Randolph Hills or, if we're worried about like the food truck getting enough business, Dewey Park is actually like the happening place these days because it's new. The murals there are absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's still pretty accessible to most people in our neighborhood. But in terms of like trying to blast, like, let's just say 5 or 6 days out, trying to blast to as many people as possible, what we would probably do is put it on our Facebook page. We have a few hundred followers there. We could put it on Nextdoor and kind of try to echo that message as well, because we were talking about it before you got on, but sometimes like posts fall down a little bit. So if people keep responding to a thread, it'll stay high. And if we have enough content, we also have a MailChimp server. I think we use that a few times per year, and we haven't used it this year because we like to bundle a bunch of different things into an email blast, because we promised people that we would only do it a few times per year as a condition of them signing up. So the Echo is a little bit slower. So like if we were saying, like, let's just say that we wanted to try food truck night once to see, like, is a food truck going to be able to sustain that kind of business? We would probably want to start with just social media. And then if it became a regular thing and caught on, I think that's where the Echo can be more helpful, because the Echo is more of like a slow ship.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right. I want to do it.
So, Andrea, would you be, if we gave you the point of contact for Montgomery Parks, would you be willing to reach out and ask about? Okay.
Totally. I think I actually have it.
Okay.
I can find it.
I think that's the first question is, do we have to do an event permit to have a food vendor in the park? Okay. And if the answer is no, then I think it opens the door for that. But my gut is telling me you have to have an event permit for a food vendor in the park. But that's it would be good just to verify that.
Yep.
And then the second part would be, if that's the case, they spot on a public road, and then, what public roads have a shoulder enough that, could sustain that or central for people to want to go there. But I think the first step is step one, and then we can proceed to step two.
We also I know Matt held a block party about once or twice a summer. So when we have a block or a part of the street blocked off, that'll work. I had just one quick question for Andrea. Did you say you have kids? How old are the kids?
I have a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. She just turned 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome.
And
where in the neighborhood do you live?
So I'm, and it's kind of an ideal situation. We had no idea when we bought this house how lucky we are, but we're right up against the park. We're on Ashley Drive. We're 11615, and our house is basically on the top of the hill of the soccer field. So
yeah, great, terrific.
Yeah. We had great sledding.
Yeah, that would have been.
And we're right down the road on Red Fox with a 6-year-old girl too. So, and she's dying to hang out with girls.
I know.
Forget boys. Boys, she hangs out with boys. She's like, yeah, whatever. They're fine. Girls. She wants girlfriends.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
They will be best friends in about 5 seconds.
And Andrea, I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
I was going to say really quickly. So we just joined the Daisies, which we just did it today, and our daughter is 6, and we didn't think she would really like it, but she loved it. It was girl talk for like 2 hours on Zoom. So I would recommend that for anyone.
I don't know if I know the ladies who run the Girl Scout troop. I don't know if they do the Daisies. Is that Amanda and Amanda?
I think so. I think that was it. Yeah.
They're the best.
Yes.
They are
great.
Absolutely the best. Yeah. Highly recommend anything they're involved in.
Yes.
I need their contact because she can talk for 2 hours straight, and I literally can't do that.
Well, I understand. I can't either. I'll send you the contact. Yes, Colby.
Yeah, I didn't know they were doing Daisies. That's great. They're fabulous.
I'm so sorry, Josh. I interrupted you. I think you were going to tell me something.
We do that all the time.
That's good.
Yeah, it's Zoom, so it's like a free for all. The other thing I was thinking about is if you feel like you're not getting through to people at parks, we actually have a few folks that we met through Better Block that have been very helpful. Like I'm thinking about Atul has been a pretty good resource for our neighborhood. He works with the planning department, but once planning kind of gets onto an idea, and if it's sort of like within some of the efforts that they've been doing, like they can certainly help us out quite a bit. And Atul Sharma has been a good resource for our neighborhood over the last, I guess it's been about 3 or 4 years since we've been working with him. Okay. So I can share his contact information.
Okay, great.
Once things reopen more, we could borrow the toys, the games from parks again. That was fabulous. Literally,
did they let us borrow those?
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice. It was literally, I drove up to I don't remember where it was, somewhere in Gaithersburg, and you go out to the little warehouse, and they just go, here, they load it in your car, and you bring it back. It's fabulous. So we should definitely
great for the kids. Very interactive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the kids had a great time with all that stuff. So, but again, I'm sure they're not doing that right at the moment.
Yeah.
But maybe by summer they will be doing that again, or certainly I bet by fall we will be able to. So the games are good, and it didn't cost us anything, as I recall. We just have to sign up and say this is the date we want, and they say yes or no. So that was nice.
Yeah, they let us borrow Jenga, Connect 4, and there might have been something else.
Cornhole, I think, was also from them.
Yeah.
And then there was the truck that brought the other stuff. But I think we picked up some, and then there was that separate truck that was a different thing. But it was good.
Plenty of choice.
Okay.
Yeah. Someday.
All right. Hopefully in 2021. Okay. So thank you very much. I'm just going back to the agenda, sorry. So I think that actually covers both our new and old business. So then that will bring us on to standard business and reports. So my recollection is, forgive me for not actually checking into this. Do we have any minutes to approve?
Yes.
January?
Yes. January is in the Echo that Ken literally just posted it on Nextdoor that it's available. Like literally 5 minutes ago.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well, I'm going to ceremoniously show not the Echo on my phone, but I am in a motion to approve the minutes as published in the Echo that's hitting everyone's mailbox hopefully in about a week or so.
Second.
I will, yes.
Any opposed?
No.
My minutes are terrible. Don't trust them. Oh, wait.
You're doing
great. Is it on the Randolph Civic website already?
He said he posted it everywhere, is what he said.
Okay.
As of a few minutes ago. So
yeah, I just saw the email in my inbox. So
yeah. Okay, with that, Colby, we are so honored to have you, and thank you for keeping up your treasurer's duties as you've been going through school. Do you want to give us a? Well, I'm sure that you could complain a lot about school too, but do you want to also give us a treasurer's report?
Yes, I'm almost done with school, so there you go. So yes, right now at this point in time, we have 91 households that have contributed Usually throughout the year, we're hitting around 250, 300. So our goal obviously is as many as we can, but 300 is great at this point in time. We have 91. So our goal is to raise about $6,500 per year. We're at 2,100 right now. So we've got about a third of what we're looking to get. RCF, we also collect for RCF. They pulled in about 1,200, which I'm about to write them a check for. So they're about halfway through theirs. I mean, usually they get about 24, 25. So all said and done, we're usually somewhere around $10,000 contributed for both organizations. So that's what we're doing in that. So we have a ways to go, obviously. But this is, this happens a lot. And especially it's COVID time and, other things are going on. So it's not super surprising. Advertising wise, we're doing pretty well. So, we have about $6,000 worth of advertising this year, which is great. That's pretty much where we are on target. Obviously we have to get 3 or so vendors to pony up their money, but that's again very normal at this time of year. So that will happen. So yeah, we're looking. I mean, we're a little light, but again, I'm not super surprised. But yeah, hopefully we can do. If we can do a last push, we've got obviously to raise that kind of money with 91 people. People have been sending in some pretty substantial checks. So there are quite a few people who have obviously gone above the $10 mark, which without them, we would be in big, big trouble. I don't know if there's a way, I may be able to try to write, something for, the next Echo to just, if not, to signal to those individuals that we truly appreciate it. It's easy with, like, for example, Venmo. So when they've contributed, I've been writing them messages back, really thanking them for that. Other venues, it's a lot harder to get that personal message back to them. But that would be a nice, I mean, if I had, I think, starting maybe next year, maybe have the time to actually personally write some people when they contribute money back to them would be appropriate, I think would be very helpful to keep encouraging them to do so. But I just haven't had that time right at the moment. I'm doing my comprehensive exams, almost done. So we're good. And I'll be able to get more into that, but that's where we stand so far.
Okay. One thing that we could also do for the next Echo is publish the names. We actually haven't done that, I think, in a few years now, but I know it's something that we used to do.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good idea. So basically, Kobe, when you get the donation or with the membership, you record the person in a sense. You shouldn't be the only one sending a thank you note. If you need help with that, let me know. I mean, I can write some thank you notes, for some people. Yeah.
I mean, sure. Yeah. If anybody would love to do that, that would be great. I mean, again, with some of them, obviously, I've been trying to, there was a lady, she said, I can't remember. She's, it was that comment where we're still Rockville. I think we saw that on our, anyway, she's been a member for like 50 years. So I literally wrote her a hand note and I was like, I really appreciate it. Just wrote her something. Cause I mean, she's been contributing for like 50 years. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that deserves a note.
But I think that's a good idea. People do get a thank you note. They'll remember to donate. Oh, that was nice. Then that's a reminder, hey, donate for next year.
Absolutely.
So 91 so far, I can write 10 thank you notes. If everybody takes 10 and I can, we have thank you cards. That's not, but if you need more, but you said some people donate through Venmo, and then I guess a few people.
Yeah, but those include the people with. Yeah, I mean, we have addresses obviously for everybody. The Venmo and I will say though, it gets a little complicated when you do it through the electronic media, and then they don't put their address on it because if you're a new homeowner, right, and you just have your name, I don't know who you are. I'm like Googling you. Okay, who are you?
Yes,
where might you live?
Whitepages.com is how I always solve that problem.
I know.
I'm like Googling, go to whitepages.com, reverse phone.
I'm like, I know. It's like I'm hoping. Right. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, we obviously all of them are recorded. So no matter how they gave their money, we have the Excel spreadsheet, and I can easily just condense it into a 91 person list at this point and send it around. And if anybody wants to, write some notes, that would be fantastic. I think it would be helpful.
But also, I think publishing the names in the Echo too. You don't have to put down the amount, but say, hey, these people contributed, and that way.
Oh, we're gonna have that debate again. Didn't we have this debate already? Well, did we do it? I don't even remember. Did we put names?
I think we put names.
I don't even remember.
I think we put names. I don't know if we didn't put amounts.
We didn't put amounts.
Said, hey, these people contributed, and we'd like to thank them for their support.
That's right.
So
in the past, there's been like a range.
Oh, range.
That's okay. I don't know if we did we do that last time. There has been like many years ago. It used to have a X dollar to X dollar, but did we do that when last time we did it? I didn't remember.
I mean, I don't know.
It's been a few years.
We don't ask people whether they want to be confidential when they send in money or not. So maybe a range, maybe the money, how much they've contributed is not what we want to put in there.
I would rather just put the names.
But just maybe names and say, or something like that, or, even if, I don't know how we want to do it. But money amounts, they may just be embarrassed. They didn't want somebody to know they contributed $500 or something, I don't know.
Well, there might be a confidential, but I know like Denise has contributed quite a lot. And so we make it there because, just hey, thank you very much. She'll contribute like $1,000 or something. And that's like, oh, wow. Yeah.
She did. So and Nell has already reached out to her and thanked her.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that person gets like, a gold star in the Echo or whatever, because they donated so much. But I mean, but at the same time, the people who donated a membership, hey, thank you very much for your membership. It's kind of like, hey, it's like a little gold star, thank you.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So.
Okay. I'll send that. I'll condense the list. I'll send it around just so everybody has it. And if everybody, if people want to do a couple of that would be great. We can split them out however you want, buy 5 stamps and 5 cards and boom.
I've got thank you cards already, like left over from my wedding from 12 years ago. So I haven't used
those. I can all
use
do. Right. Okay, cool.
All right.
Okay.
So thank you very much, and welcome back, Colby. I hope with your comprehensives we'll be seeing your face again.
Good luck.
At least virtually. So.
Comps are awful.
The end of March, I'll have just one little class to finish up, and I'm done. So
excellent.
We're good.
Yes. All right. So we're on to committee reports now. So Diane, public safety.
Okay. So I have been emailing Dana Strumman back and forth regarding the incident that happened a while ago now down the street. And it's not closed yet. This is where they thought it was like a drive-by shooting, but it wasn't. And then it got limited down to like a weapons discharge. Still, there's some back and forth on the history of the house. So Dana, the last email I got from her said she forwarded my information to the detective in charge. So the case isn't closed. So he's supposed to email me. So I'm just waiting for his email. So hopefully we'll get some information on that. Dana Strumman did put some information on Nextdoor regarding car break-ins. Okay, so again, people, you got to lock your doors. That's the biggest thing. Kids are just coming by and just seeing if they can get in and so forth. Now, interestingly enough, since people have been home, there hasn't been too bad with the crime, but do beware of porch pirates. A lot of people are ordering stuff online. Amazon's coming through the neighborhood. So, but the good news is since people are home, that's helpful. Also, Nest seems to be more popular now. So more people are home, they're investing in their house. So crime, the main thing is the break-in into automobiles. And Dana Strumman did put something up on Nextdoor regarding it. There's quite a few in the Bethesda area, like almost 25 or more. I didn't see our neighborhood listed exactly, but I know Garrett Park had some break-ins. So that's okay.
Our cars aren't nice enough. Yeah, for
well, no,
Andrew.
I think it's also just kids coming by seeing if the door's unlocked. I mean, the most of the time it's because someone forgot to lock their doors, and they leave stuff in the car. It's usually not someone trying to actually break in, pick the lock, or break them. That's not the case. It's usually, oh, I forgot to lock my door, and you leave something in the car.
I mean, that's why we never leave anything in our car, and they come through and they rummage through our car. You know, we get it a couple times a year, but that's why the only thing they could steal out of my car is a reusable grocery bag or the really old phone charger. That's literally the only thing they could steal from my car. So I don't even have loose change in my car. Somebody came and rummaged through my car maybe last week, but I really I don't care. I mean, I guess at this point, the biggest danger would be getting COVID from them, but
yeah, I mean, that's the other thing too. Like,
but yeah, I never leave anything in my car for that reason.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just don't try not to leave anything in your car that looks in, and make sure you lock your doors, your car doors. And just the other thing was porch pirates. I didn't hear anything specifically in our neighborhood, but a lot of people are ordering things online, having stuff delivered, of course. And so that is just something to be concerned about. And I highly recommend Nest. My husband and I got that. So if you're looking for some, Ring seems to be the police promote Ring. But I'll tell you, Nest is very entertaining, so you can just, so anyhow.
Diane, was there anything about this possible murder on Garrett Park Road? Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah. Okay. A body was found. Okay. All right. So, but it's still, they're not sure if it was actually a homicide. That's the thing at this point in time. It's still under investigation. So I don't know if it was an accident. So so I did hear about that. But there was a death. So that's, but it doesn't, the only thing is foul play is not something that they talk about. So I'll ask Dana Stroman a little bit more about it. It wasn't exactly in our neighborhood, so I wasn't too sure if we should dive into that. I don't think it was anybody from the neighborhood. And I don't even know if the man was a body, but I'm not too sure if they were from Garrett Park. They certainly didn't put their name. So
there was
in Holiday.
There was a whole thread on Nextdoor about it, and it was like double murder and the conversation went all over the place.
Nextdoor is great.
So when I looked up, there's a way you can go online and look up like police reports and stuff like that. They didn't list it as a homicide though. So I don't know. No, I'm not saying it won't be confirmed a homicide later. Be very careful with Nextdoor. As we said, we had a drive-by shooting. No, we didn't have drive-by shooting. So I did see that on Nextdoor, but I was like, okay, I'm always a little hesitant because people tend to go with this. Okay.
It may be leaf blower related.
Leaf blower related. Okay.
So I love Nextdoor. It's the best.
Well, so just be very, I'm not saying that things don't happen in our neighborhood or next door, but just be very careful that we don't run since I certainly don't want to hear about, that house down the street's a drug house. Okay. All right, let's wait until we hear all the reports. And I'm not saying there's not drug activity. We do have a marijuana dispensary not far from our neighborhood, but I'm just saying that before you start saying there's a drug house, okay, from events that happened 3 years ago, maybe, so anyway, okay. But I'll see if I can find any more information. I did see that on Nextdoor, but I didn't see anything listed on the police reports as it being a homicide. So.
Well, I think it's good that not only was that drive-by that wasn't actually even a gun discharged or, the murder that really wasn't a murder at all. Those are all good things to have.
Yeah. This is the problem where, oh my gosh, drive-by shooting. And then, now if there may have been a weapons discharge, but even then we can't find any evidence for weapons, but there may have been a firecracker, so, it gets downplayed to something like, okay, and so when my main concern is if something really bad does happen, people have already cried wolf so many times. It's like, okay, I want the police to investigate when something really bad does happen and then take care of all the other little incidents. I'm more worried about car break-ins at this point. porch pirates, because that's something that can easily happen to anybody. So.
Okay. All right, Matt, do you have anything for the Environment Committee?
Yeah, really the only thing, I've got one neighbor who's concerned about the property at 11316 Schuylkill Road. I don't know that there's much that can really be done. It's a house that's it's empty right now. It was I think it was a foreclosure, and then somebody bought it, but they're moving very, very slowly. It's an investment, purchase. They're going to be flipping it, I guess, but they're moving very slowly, and it's a real eyesore. Still, the garage in the back, I think the bottom of the door is completely broken, and so it's just open. That was the house. I think the back door was wide open for a while. Yeah. So, but that's the only that's the only thing that's really been happening recently.
Is that the house with the pool?
Yes.
Yes. The mosquito pond.
Okay. Well, I'm still hoping that the what I call the hole on my block is going to come down at some point, because there's a demo application. But well, hopefully both of those houses get turned over in the near future.
Yes.
So that's all that we have for the agenda. Does anyone else have any issue that they'd like to discuss that we haven't already discussed?
I mean, I could come up with some things, but I think there's one thing that I would actually, I don't know exactly what environment, what kinds of things or which category this would fall into, but I am a huge pusher on cleaning up trash, especially in the creek. So we've done that a couple times with the family. And I feel like there's, that's I would love to organize more cleanups for the creek. So if I could just do food trucks and cleaning up the creek, that would be.
Yeah, I mean, we are big fans of the cleanup. I think Nensel, does Mark and Corinne still have? I think they're still doing it. I think they have. So they're from the Civic Foundation, and they have the gloves and the garbage bags and the grabbers and all of that.
Okay.
I'm sure they would be delighted.
Mark and Corinne,
yeah.
Yeah, Andrea, I can connect you. So
thank you.
Yeah, so
you do that.
She probably doesn't know, but so we have a sister organization. It's called the Randolph Civic Foundation, and I believe that they're designated as a 501c3, and so they have adopted Bolingbrook Parkway, and I don't actually remember how many times per year they do it, but right along the creek there, in between Ashley and all the way effectively to the JDS sign is a road that they've adopted, and so they clean it up. At the same time, there's the Rock Creek Conservancy, and Lisa Cunningham from our neighborhood is a big organizer of big creek cleanup. So we have two different organizations that are cleaning up different parts of the community. And so, I'd like to do more of creek cleanups, because I think Bolingbrook gets a lot of attention through RCF anyway, but I think the creek could use more attention. I'd connected with Lisa, I think back in the fall, and when they do a conservancy cleanup, they have to wait for the right weather, is how she described it, because they literally will get into the creek to grab stuff out. So it's pretty involved. But I haven't talked to Lisa in a few months. And so number one, I can connect you two. But I love it. We got trash pickers pretty recently. We just kind of go around with them in a trash bag.
Yeah. I mean, my kids and I will show up, because the last one I think was in May. Normally we do it more often. This year has been weird, but normally
Right.
I believe that we're supposed to do it either 4 times a year or 6 times a year for the
about
adoption.
every 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is, 6 times a year. I knew it was something like that. But yeah, I mean, there are definitely, there are people who will show up, put it on next door, send out a reminder, and my kids and I will show up, and Yeah,
Right.
sometimes it's a small but hearty crew, but we do.
That's fine.
I love doing that. It's one of my favorite things. So
I think the only problem we ran up against, we were there for maybe 15 minutes and had so many bags of trash in just 15 minutes and didn't know what to do with all the trash.
Right. I believe that if we do it through RCF, I think they can actually get parks to come. Like if we drag it all to one location, parks will come and
awesome.
Somebody who comes and picks the garbage up. Which like when I freelanced on it, I filled an entire garbage bag and then I was like, wait, I have to go get my car, drive it down here to get this garbage because I can't get So,
right.
But if we do it through RCF or through Lisa, she also has they know how to arrange for somebody to come pick it up. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Conservancy has that too. They'll have like a bulk pickup.
Yep,
okay,
it's great.
So
in regard to environment, I have a question. Something I love but have zero expertise in. Could any of us who are nature conversant, like Brian Hooker or even Matt, could we organize a nature walk, like where we look at birds, or where Brian tells us about the aquatic life and the fish that have come back, or even someone who can point out more of the weeds that are growing along the creek? It's all so exciting. And it might be a relatively benign activity where we're all socially distanced. But, does anybody have that expertise and would dedicate a Saturday or something to that?
I wish.
I know I wish, but
on the fish, Brian, your fishies.
We're all looking at you, Brian.
I know some of the birds, but mostly I'd have to bring my book.
I was glad Christiana actually read my article. It sounds like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think around community day down in the park. It's usually in the fall, but we could, talk about doing something in the spring that's something similar to that. I remember one time we had that bat person come talk about bats and from the parks and stuff. But is that what you're trying to talk about, Christiana? Something like that, where we?
Yeah. First, I was also thinking what local expertise we have. We used to have Michelle Koenig in the neighborhood, who was working for the Audubon Society. I don't know if anybody still has contact to the Audubon Nature Center, which is not too far from here. But even getting someone like that, and then we have a morning of a bird walk, I think that would be just so wonderful.
That would be great.
Mm-hmm. Is Rich Pepin involved with Audubon? I feel like I've seen a post from maybe him. I'm trying to remember. I've seen some posts on Nextdoor.
Well, I would imagine if you sent out on Nextdoor and said, does anyone have any expertise in trees, grasses, birds, animals, who would be willing to take a walk with some community neighbors and kids, I'm sure somebody on Nextdoor would say something, right? I mean, you probably get a few, remarks that you wouldn't want to hear about, but someone might come up.
we can roll with that, yeah.
Yeah, we can roll with it, exactly.
Yeah.
Next time I see Dean, I'll also ask him, because I know that he's actually pretty knowledgeable about local wildlife and and foliage as well. So I'll ask him.
And then he'll make everybody take out cameras with us. That would be cool. Yeah.
I mean, most of us aren't going to know if he's telling the truth or not, so we'll just listen and have a good time.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Whether Dean is telling the truth, who knows? But it'll be fun. And that's the important thing.
The towhee, or whatever they're called, the different birds. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so if anybody has any leads for me, do send them my way, and I could commit to scrounging up something nature related. And if you're up for it, then we could talk about what date we might pick. Yeah.
Yeah. Christiana, do you know? I forgot her first name, but her last name is Bozo, I think. Over in Franklin Park. Stephanie Bozo. She works for the Audubon Nature Center Education Center there on
over on a beach. So I think she's posted before, so I can send you. I think I have her contact information.
That would be great. And then I'll set to that if you like. Here's Bob. Okay.
Hey, Bob. Maddie, you've been so patient again.
I'm trying. So Andrea, I'm pretty COVID careful. But if you ever want to throw on a mask, I plug once a week. Well, like I walk. I'm not a jogger or anything, so I plug once a week. I haven't gone at the creek because I don't want to fall in. It's too cold for that. Not my vibe. But I'll go like 2 miles to the left and kind of plug on my way. And there are conveniently placed trash cans that you can put full ones in. So that's kind of nice if you're ever interested to throw on a mask and come on a walk. I live like not too far from you. So
and kids can come.
Absolutely. I don't have kids, but I love other people. So and then my other question, I don't know if this would be you guys or if I would reach out to Parks, but there are no hoops on our basketball courts. Do we know?
They took them down for COVID stuff.
Yeah. They don't want people congregating over there. But even though they're congregating over Dewey Park and it's brand new, it's packed.
Have there county parks around? Because we just moved and there were 2 county parks that had them still up. So I didn't know and they had never taken them down. So I didn't know if we were able to get them back up or anything.
That would be great.
We can put in a request for that. And I actually can't recall, but I think that pre-COVID there were hoops up there.
Yeah,
they were. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So they probably just forgot.
I think so. Yeah.
I think you guys are right. I think they actually have started reinstalling them, but they just hadn't either gotten around to us or they forgot about us. So I noticed the other day that I think we need to reach out to them.
Yeah.
Well, cool. That was an easy answer. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and let me know if you guys are picking up trash. We're trying to do it like maybe once a week or every so often when the kids are ready to do it, I guess. So, all right.
Did everybody realize I had to ask my wife what plogging was? Picking up litter on the go. Everybody else got that? Am I the only one?
There's signs in the park.
I know.
There's signs. I read the signs.
I had to. I forgot.
I thought it was a fast walk, not quite a jog, not quite a walk. But thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. I had no idea.
People need to read the signs. Terrible. Terrible.
Okay.
I was just smiling and nodding. I totally knew what that meant.
I'll be more descriptive.
No, apparently I've been doing it, so that's good. So thanks for Maddie, Andrea, thanks for joining us. You guys are always welcome to join us. We're always looking for engaged residents to be involved with RCA. We're going to have elections in a few months too, so think about if you want to get seriously involved too. So with that, I think I'm going to give folks just one last opportunity for a burning issue.
No burning issue, but this has been a great fundraising event. Thank you all for contributing. My phone has been going off the hook. I'm very happy about that.
I always forget to contribute until the meeting where you say, hey, people need to contribute. I go, crap, I didn't send in my membership. So every time.
I'm going to do mine after this too. So with that, I'm going to motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Good.
Okay. Any opposed? All right. That passes. Good night, everyone. It's 9:27. We'll take care. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice meeting everyone.
Online looks great. I just saw it. Bye.
Send me the thing about the daisies. I'm interested in that daisies.
I need to get your email.
You can, Colby-Congo at Yahoo, or you can do the treasurer email, either way.
Okay. Okay, got it. Okay.
That's perfect, because we're right up the street next to you and Maddie and Red Fox.